Right, so for today, we're going to have the opportunity to hear from a variety of speakers who have walked the same path that y'all are about to walk. Right, you're at a time in your lives, and I know I don't have to tell you this, you're at a time in your lives where there are big things happening, big transitions. Whether you're transitioning from year to year in high school, whether you're getting ready to look towards your summer plans, maybe you're working your first job, maybe you've got a big season coming up, or maybe you're getting ready for that transition to college. And I think one of the things that I've learned, right, as somebody who's walked the same path as all of you, is how valuable it is to get to hear from the people who've gone through the hardships, gone through the struggles, and come out better on the other side. And so I hope for today, we can spend some time celebrating what it means to be a man. Celebrating the people who are leaders in our community, celebrating with one another, right, celebrating with a group of peers, with a community that we are lucky to have together. Because I'll tell you, all right, for me, when I think about my identity as a man, it starts and ends with the communities that I'm part of. I grew up in a situation where the people program didn't exist. Right? I'm from Sheboygan, Wisconsin. We don't have anything like this. And I can tell you, looking back, how much I would have benefited from the opportunity to get to come together in a community with people that I love and respected like this. So I'm grateful that you gave up your weekend to come here. I'm grateful that we can be in this place with the support of a program like people, that we can spend this time thinking about what we want for our future. We can spend time thinking about how we want to grow as men, as brothers, as a part of a community that's in it together. I'm excited for what we get to do together today. I'm optimistic that this will be a time of real growth and opportunity for us to get closer as a group. And I'm excited that this is just the start. Right? I think there's an ethos you'll hear all the time with these sort of workshops, right? What's said here stays here, but what's learned here leaves here. Right? And I'm encouraged, just take this opportunity to be vulnerable. Take this opportunity to be honest with where you're at, about the things you're feeling, about the things you want to learn, about the things you don't get an opportunity to discuss otherwise, with the understanding that this is a community that's in it together. And that together, we can be better each day, we can determine what we want for our future, and we can learn and we can grow every day after this. With that, I'll turn it over to Monica to introduce our first speaker for the day. It's really good to see you all here, and I'm you now.
I just want to make sure. Okay, yeah. So what's up? Early in the morning? Tired? A little bit? Couple of things I want to give y'all as we get into this presentation, because I'm a businessman and I want you all to get used to getting up. As you get older, a couple of things I want you to do. Number one, whenever you come to stuff like this, you need to have a pen and piece of paper, because you need to write down certain stuff that's going to be good for you to take. So number one, always come prepared with a pen and piece of paper. Number two, and this is something that when I was your age, people told me, but I was like, somebody is always watching you. Somebody is always watching you. Y'all are at the age now where the game and the strategy for you is about to change, if it hasn't already. So now you gotta be a little bit more on point, because if you say you want to do something, every day in your mind you need to get obsessed with getting to your goal. Because it's a bunch of other people that want to be in the same position as you. And so the difference is you're going to have to ask yourself, what am I going to do to get there? Because, brothers and sisters, this is a competition. Everybody is trying to, you got a whole bunch of people trying to be, what did you tell me, neurosurgeon? Neurologist? You got a whole bunch of people trying to be engineer. You got a whole bunch of people trying to be business owners, construction company owners. So the question and the value you got to start asking yourself is, what am I going to do in order to get there? If you do not understand and accept that the world you live in now is very much smaller and it is a competition, then you have to start asking yourself where you're going to be and what you're going to do. So I'm Jason Fields, and I don't want to get into a whole bunch of that stuff, but I was a stockbroker, portfolio manager. We managed around $100 million. I did some trading where Shalom, where did I see you? I saw you working, right? That's where we met. And this is the example. I'm going to get into my presentation. I saw him working at a restaurant my wife and I go to every Sunday after church. I saw him working. Rule number one, when you working, people are willing to help you. When you doing stuff and people watching you and they see you and some jump out at them, people are willing to help you. So I called him over to the table and said, hey man, what you about? What's the game? What you doing? He told me, yada, yada, yada. And next thing you know, we meeting and we got to get together a schedule. We call, I hook you up with a buddy of mine, and we start talking about investing and trading. So now he has somebody who he can call to help him navigate and get to certain places. Do y'all understand that? Because a lot of times it's not always what you know, it's what? Who you know. Who you know. So the game for you all right now, it starts today. So get used to, if you say you want to do the stuff y'all all told you want to do, then you better be serious about it. Because when I talk to you all about the things that successful people or mentally tough people do and the things that they don't do, this is the come to Jesus discussion, where you got to ask yourself, yo, is that me or not? Do I really want it or not? Because everybody say they want it until it show up and it's dressed in overalls and it look like hard work. Everybody say they want it. I done been around a lot of people, y'all, who say they want it. I done grew up with homeboys just like y'all who said they want it. I'm 50 years old. They still trying to be rappers. At 50. I ain't saying you gotta give up on your dream, but at some point, you gotta get serious. This was me, man. I was depressed, was drinking. I'm a recovering alcoholic. And my nephew, Joseph Smith, is in the back. Joe, wait a minute. Joe was there when it was bad, wasn't it, Joe? Joe was there. This was me, y'all. Listen to this, I had two vehicles. I had a sports car in the summertime, a kind of sports car they don't even make no more. I had a truck in the wintertime. I had my own 4-bedroom house, 2 full baths, 2 car garages, 2 parking spaces, and I had an office downtown Milwaukee on like the 8th floor. I was making like $9,000 a month after taxes for like 20 hours of work. You couldn't tell me nothing. I didn't have no kids. I was single. I was getting flown to places like Switzerland and meeting with ambassadors and all this stuff. Full cost. I was doing all that, and then this happened. Got depressed, started drinking, and when I say started drinking, y'all, I mean a lot, like a lot. It was crazy. That picture is the day after I told my father's man, broke 3 ribs, had lost my job, lost my house, had to file for bankruptcy, lost my cars and everything, had to move back in my parents' house. You can see that it made the news. My face was on every news station in the city of Milwaukee. All the people I knew. I was a former elected official, y'all, so I know big leaders and stuff like that. They was all calling me like, yo, what's going on with you? It was bad. I went there to no money, and that day, that's the day after I totaled the van, broke 3 ribs, fractured my nose, didn't have no insurance. The police came to the hospital and arrested me that day, the next day. The hospital was like, hey, you've been here for a day, you ain't got no insurance, yada yada, time to go. Walked out with women's clothes on, in handcuffs, but they had enough respect for me to cover the handcuffs. So what happened? The same stuff that's happening to y'all now, and that will continue to happen to you until you understand what I'm about to give you is the greatest secret and weapon that you've heard it before, but people don't stress it up. The greatest weapon for you or against you is you. It is your mind. And I need you to understand and let that sink in. The greatest weapon for you is your mind. It will either work for you or against you. But you have to get to a point where you're wondering, how do I make it work for me? And what do I have to deal with? How old are you all? I don't like just talking. How old are you all? 17, 18. Stress. How many of y'all deal with stress? Raise your hands high so I can see you. What kind of stress? There's a whole bunch of them up there. If you want to share, just yell it out. What kind of stress? Money? How many of you deal with money stress? Be honest. Oh, so everybody here a baller. Well, everybody here made it, huh? Okay, let me see the tax returns. What kind of stress? Money stress. Why? Not enough. I want you to hold on to that. Not enough money. What else? What else? Academic. Why? So what's the stress about? To not have enough money. So it's not necessarily academics in school, it's the money again. Now the academics is part of it. What else? And then we're gonna move on. Time. Life goals. When I asked most of you what you want to be when you grew up, y'all said, hey, maybe I don't know. Is that stressful? Wait till you get 40 and 50, like my age, and then you look back at your life and go, yo, what did I accomplish? I'm on the second phase of my life. And when I look back, what is it? What do I have? Stress. Here's the secret, y'all. I learned all this stuff after going through all the stuff that I went through. I had to go to jail the day after Christmas. Like the day after Christmas. And sit there. And I wasn't there for a long time, but I understood why brothers and men go in and they read the Quran and the Bible. Like, I understood it, because that's all you got to do in here. And so I started just really thinking, and after I got out, I was then on house arrest. And I started looking at, what do all successful people do? How many of y'all feel like you close to it, but you just, it's something that's right in front of your face, but you know it's there, you can see and feel the success, you know you got it, you know you're gonna be there, but it's just something that, how many of y'all feel like that? Honestly, I mean, you know it's there. You can almost reach out and feel it, but it's like an invisible something is pushing you back. That's your mind. Let me give y'all what I call the formula for success and the formula for failure. I'm 50 years old. I learned this at like 43. It's about 6 years ago. I really started getting into all this stuff. And so this ain't stuff I'm just telling y'all. This is stuff I've been through. So everything in your life is dictated by what you believe. Simple as that. Everything in your life is dictated by what you believe and value. What you value and believe will dictate where you go, what you do, how you act, how you react. So that's the first step. And I want you to mentally ask yourself, what do you value and believe about yourself? What do you value and believe about yourself? I mean, what do you truly value and believe about yourself? Not well, I'm a student, I'm good. No, what you value and believe. Do you value and believe that you're going to be a millionaire? Do you value and believe you're going to own a construction company or business? Do you value and believe the neuroscience? You see me here? Neurologist, what did you give me? Something working on the business, right? So what you value and believe, either in the positive or the negative, will work against you. I valued and believed about myself, despite all the stuff, that I was a CEO, that I'm going to be around millions of dollars, and that I'm going to be successful. I valued and believed that regardless of anything that came my way. But it took me a while because at some point when I started drinking, what did I value more? My brother said to me, Jay, you got to find something that you love more than drinking. What did I love more than drinking? Me. I love me more than I love drinking. So what you value and believe, you think about it. How many of y'all heard stuff like, well, you just like your mom and you just like your daddy, you this, you ain't gonna be this, you don't wanna be that. When you start hearing that stuff enough and you start valuing and believing that, guess what happens? You think about it. From your thoughts, you start acting on it. And from acting on it, you do what? You experience it. It works in the negative too. But if you value and believe that you are smart, special, hardworking, and you think about that, and here's where, if it was 100 people in this room, somebody, and back in my day when I was in college, I was just talking to them about it last month to a bunch of business students at UW-Madison, giving them some of the same stuff I'm telling y'all, that when I got there, this is what they did. And I thought it was a joke until it happened. The guy with the professor or the dean or whoever would say, hey, look to your left, look to your right, one of y'all ain't gonna be here. And he wasn't lying. He was dead serious. So what did I have to value? That I'm gonna make it. And what did I have to think about? Now here's the issue. Once you start thinking about something, y'all, you gotta get to the next step. You can't just say, I want to be successful, I want to be an engineer, a computer scientist. I can't just do that, think about it, and then you don't do what? Commit to it. You can't just say, I want to do this stuff, but every chance you get, you do everything except for doing what you say you want to do. Because then, what will you experience? Your outcome. So here's the rule. They say that it takes 30 days to form a habit. They say that. Now that's either here nor there for some people. But if you want to feel better about yourself, you have to think and behave differently. What did you say you want to be?
I want to be an
Emergency medicine doctor. So what do emergency medicine doctors do?
treat people who come to the emergency room.
Better yet, how do they get there? That's the better question, because that's what you want to do.
Go through undergrad, then medical school, then residency, then you become an emergency medicine doctor.
Mm-hmm. Have you also looked at who's in that role now where you want to be and thought about reaching out to them?
I haven't.
What stopped you?
What stopped me is lose my mind.
Right. Because what did you have to lose if you reach out and they say no? What did you lose?
Well, there's nothing really to lose, but you can be scared.
Right. It can be scary. Of what? What? What's scary?
Could be rejection.
So you are afraid, like most of you, you are afraid of something that ain't even happened yet. Y'all are afraid of stuff that's not real. Could. Not that it's not valid, because I've been there. Not that it's not valid. I mean, look, I've been there trying to call millionaires and hedge fund managers. Listen, I've been there. He said it, his mind. Let's start getting over the fear, and I'm telling you what successful people, mentally tough people do. And again, I learned this from getting into my position, you all. When I was getting this job, the one I have now, I had to come before several mayors, several CEOs, big-time CEOs of construction companies, other economic people, vice presidents and presidents of bankers. Those are all my bosses. I got 35 bosses. They call it board. CEOs, mayors, county executives, presidents, vice presidents of banks. Those are my bosses. I was talking to my wife, and I believe that I'm a CEO and I'm winning. But like you said, sometimes fear get to you, man. But I had to immerse myself in something. And my wife said something. She said, Jason, God don't call to qualify, he qualified to call. Y'all know what that means? Meaning, you may not in your mind be where you think you should be. But let me tell y'all something that I've learned that I want you all to pick up on. All the technical stuff you can learn. I can teach y'all how to be stockbrokers. I can teach y'all how to be business people. Somebody can teach me how to be a computer engineer. I don't know nothing about that, but somebody can teach me how to do it. I can enroll and take the courses. Somebody can teach me how to do what you want to do, but that will never stop you. You want to know what stops you again? What did he say? Mind. Why? Because of fear. Mentally tough people understand this thing. They do what other mentally tough people do. Meaning, mentally tough people look deep inside themselves and go, you know what? I have to get rid of the fear that I'm not good enough, that I'm not smart enough, or that it's not enough time or not enough money. All those things are deposited into your mind and psyche so you can be stressed and fearful about it. Because the truth is, there is enough time. There is enough money. The difference between something being easy and something being hard is you got to dedicate time to it. When you start to operate out of there isn't enough or lack, what it says is that you've made some agreements with yourself. So what mentally tough people have done is that I'm going to look internally within myself and I'm going to make different agreements. It's a book, it's called The 4 Agreements. And this is what mentally tough people do. They say to themselves, I'm going to be impeccable with my word. Meaning when I talk, if I'm talking business, education, whatever, what have you, as a businessman, I'm going to be impeccable with my word. As a student, I'm going to be impeccable. When I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to talk about other people. I'm not going to belittle people. Because when you do that, you make that agreement, guess what happens? That empowers you. And what did I tell y'all before? Somebody's always watching you. Don't think for a minute, and I gotta keep stressing this, that people are not watching you all. Someone is always watching you. So always be on point because somebody is always watching you. Trust me when I tell you that. You are being watched. So mentally tough people says, you know what? When I speak, it's going to be professional. It's going to be impeccable. I'm not going to be lying. I'm not going to be belittling people. I'm going to be an impeccable person, so when other people see me, they know I'm impeccable. The second agreement, don't take stuff personally. Now, that's going to take some work, y'all. That's hard to do. Don't take things personally. And understand that when you encounter have situations, a lot of times, it's not necessarily you, it's the other person to a certain degree. When it gets to a point where, hey, why are they doing this kind of stuff? Why they going out? Why they treating me like this? It ain't always because it's something you did. So don't take things personal, because believe it or not, the world don't owe y'all nothing. So let me tell you how hard it is, because I want you to understand you have to start changing your mindset. Don't take it personal, because it's not. I got hired to do this job. Our organization before me had never made it in the black. Meaning we had never gotten the black. Meaning this organization for like the last 7 years was $100,000, $200,000 in the hole every year. I got there, my first 2 years, we ended up in the black, meaning we netted profit $100,000, $80,000. My third year, which was last year, we made a bunch of changes. And here's where the fear stuff comes in, and the taking things personal. I was $324,000 in the hole. Y'all, that's stuff where you get fired over. And I'm sitting in my living room, and I'm sick, like I'm ready to throw up. Because my board, the same group of people who didn't say nothing, when the other guy was running the organization in the ground, now they was all over my back. Now they concerned. Now they want to know what's going on. I'm like, hey, y'all didn't say nothing for 7 or 8 years. Now we worry after 2 years I've been in the black by hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now we worry. I was sick. I was taking that personally, y'all. I was like, man, how dare they? Didn't say a word when this dude was running the organization into the ground. Now everybody cared and got something to say. Because the black dude is running the organization. Didn't say nothing when the white dude was running it. Oh, I took it personally. But what did that get me? Nothing. Just sickness. We ended up getting better doing a year, and now we're going after bigger contracts, y'all. So don't take stuff personally to the point where it affects your mind for you to get stifled and stopped. Because at the end of the day, those people are just doing what they're supposed to do. Number 3, don't make assumptions, y'all. Don't make assumptions. If you got questions, ask. Don't make assumptions. Some of y'all counselors, you might think, that person is, they don't like me, that. Talk to them. Don't make assumptions. In your school, in your class, in your business life, whatever you do not make assumptions. Y'all ever heard the statement, don't assume because it only make an ass out of you and me? How many of y'all heard that? Never. So don't assume nothing. Always seek clarity. If you struggle with something, seek clarity. Number 4, always do your best. Now, by a show of hands, and let's be honest, do y'all always do your best? Raise your hand. Do you always do your best? Why not? This is where we talk about. Why not? Decrease motivation. Why not? Do you always do your best? Why not? It's hard. What's hard about it? Who else? Do you always do your best? Why not? Just tough. Just tough. Don't confuse being excellent with doing your best. Don't confuse being excellent with doing your best. Being excellent means, no, don't confuse being perfect. Let me rephrase that. Don't confuse being perfect. Doing your best and being excellent just means, look, I'm gonna go out and I'm going to control my mind because I know right now I'm being lazy. I know I'm being lazy. I know I should be doing more, but I'm not. Because it's hard. Is it really hard, or you just don't want to do it? Because it's not hard. By a show of hands, Bridge, is doing your best really hard? Think about it. Is it? You're just making an effort. If you got a test and you got to study for the test and you don't, is that hard? You just chose not to do it. So understand there's a difference between something being perfect versus doing your best. When you do your best, even if you don't get a perfect grade, you should be happy with, hey, I gave it my best because I've learned something. It doesn't mean perfection, you all. It just means I'm doing my best. Sometimes you're going to come up short, sometimes you're not. So here's the thing that 13 people don't do. The first thing we talk about is what they do. They change their mindset and their thinking. Now here's what mentally tough people don't do. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. Feeling sorry for yourself as much as you may want to, as much as it may be valid, feeling sorry for yourself don't get you nothing. I know because I have felt sorry for myself on a number of occasions. I felt sorry after I drank that other bottle of vodka. I felt sorry for myself when they arrested me. I felt sorry when I filed for bankruptcy. I felt sorry for all this stuff. And at the end of the day, I had control over all of that stuff. Feeling sorry for yourself don't get you anything except just waste time. Number two, they don't give away their power. I need you all to understand and master their art of emotional intelligence. Meaning, if you look now, you got so many people in y'all age group and even older, they get mad at a teacher and they cussing the teacher out. They get mad at another adult and they snap them. Not realizing that, hey, that person you just snapped on was your plug to get you to where you said you wanted to go. They don't give away their power by letting people control them. Meaning, if I say something to you and it's offensive, yes, I'm in the wrong. If you have 2 ways to react, or 3 ways, say nothing, let it slide, address it in an intellectual, professional manner, say, hey, I hear you, but that's kind of offensive. Or your 3rd way is, yo man, what's that you crying? You know what I'm saying? Now we there. And what happened? What did we get? Nothing. Nothing. Now here's the real kicker. Odds are nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm naked already. What'd you say you wanted to be? I'm just picking on you as an example. Software engineer. What school you trying to go to? UW-Mass. So let's take me and him in this example. He snapped. Forget you, man. Yo, you this, you that. Now, I know who he is. I don't like it. Now you and I beefing. What you don't know is the chancellor of UW-Madison and the president of UW-Madison, who used to give me campaign contributions because he supported me when I was an elected official, she's sitting on my board. Who got more juice now? Who can hurt who? Because it's a phone call for me, like, yo, we gonna pass on my guy. And then for what? Emotional intelligent people go, hey, let me play this game and see what is it really worth. If I'm losing, then for what? Y'all don't let pride put you in a position where you're losing. Because at the end of the day, if you're losing, you're losing. They don't shy away from change. It's going to take change for you to get to where you want to go. If you want to feel better about yourself, you got to change your behavior and change the way you think. Mentally tough people understand that. I had to change. Just recently, y'all, this is what I like to do, and this is a tough change for me. I'm working on my master's degree in school. I graduate next week with a 3.97 GPA. Do y'all know the last time I got all A's was in kindergarten, bro? That's how long ago it was. I was in kindergarten when I got all A's. I had to change. Just recently, I still had to change. And here's where I want y'all to change too. The social media stuff, the Facebooks, the TikToks and all that, limit your interaction. Because 9 times out of 10, it is not making you smarter. I was watching that stuff because I like the downtime. And I heard God say, hey man, you need to start reading more. Think about it, y'all. I get invited and asked to do this stuff, and I gotta read more. I can't spend all my time on social media. As much as it's downtime for me, I would like to do it. I gotta read more because guess what? If I want to be a CEO and I'm hanging around other CEOs, I need to know to talk the language. I need to know stuff. I've told you all people that are on my board, I can't spend all my time on social media and not contribute to my development. So I have to change and ask myself, how much do I want it? Meaning, I gotta be willing to do stuff that's uncomfortable. They don't waste energy on things they can't control. If y'all know y'all can control some stuff, let it go. 7, I'm gonna skip around because I wanna make sure we save time. Don't dwell on the past, y'all. Look, how many of y'all have some bad stuff happen? How many some people don't play with y'all? Be honest. How many some bad stuff happen? Does it still get to you? Be honest. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay. It still gets you. That's all right. Here's the problem though. Don't let it guide you. Because while you thinking about the past is the past. It's done and over with. You got moves to make. You got something you want to be. Number 8, they don't make the same mistakes over and over again. Lord Jesus, y'all. And I'm gonna go a little bit off script. I see a lot on social media, men and women talking about what men do, what women do. What they really need to be saying is, you're the reason you keep dating junky people. All men ain't crap, all women ain't this. It's you. It's you. If you keep dating the same girl, y'all, over and over again, and y'all know she ain't going nowhere, that's you. That's you. That's you. If you keep dealing with the same dudes who don't want to go nowhere, that's you. You are what you attract. If I'm looking at your cell phone right now, I know where you're going to be going. I know what you're about by the 5 people you talk to the most. Never heard that? Oh, we got to love more stuff. Y'all know about 3rd grade, they know how many people will be passing and going to jail or not? Yeah. So there's a saying that your network is your network. Meaning, if I look at your cell phone and all you got is a connection with a bunch of people who ain't going nowhere, odds are, now, there's some outliers, but the reality is that at some point you got to make a decision. Where y'all going to go? Number 11, they don't fear alone time. You all, it's okay to sit in your thoughts and reflect. A lot of men, we don't like being alone. I hate it. I really don't like being alone. But you need to be alone to wrestle with your thoughts like a sumo man. So you can take time and figure out where you want to go. What's the strategy? What do you need to do? How to collect yourself. You need to take time so you're not inundated with a whole bunch of nonsense and mess. And number 13, they don't expect immediate results. Your life is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So don't expect to get there overnight because it's not going to happen. And the reason why you don't expect that is because what happens is, and a deal that I was making, I thought it was going to happen overnight, and it didn't. In fact, I lost like $15,000, and I was so crushed, y'all. And it stopped me from moving forward. And so what I didn't learn was that successful people don't just blow up overnight, y'all. Warren Buffett didn't make most of his money until after age 65. Do y'all know Walt Disney, when he made Mickey Mouse was not the first character. There was another character that a company stole from Walt Disney, had some success. He didn't get Mickey Mouse and make Mickey Mouse until later on. And then by the time he died, that's when Mickey Mouse blew up. Y'all, success don't happen overnight. It's not a one-trick pony. It's not no boom, I'm going to do this and we're going to all of a sudden be millionaires. That's not how it works. You have to put the time in. This is me today. I was, and I'm not bragging, y'all, so please don't take it like that. But the point I want to show you is that I'm not just here talking to you because of no experience. You don't go from all that stuff to suffering from depression, to being in jail, to then being voted one of 275 most influential Wisconsin business people. You don't go from losing jobs and bankruptcy to doing that, to then authoring 3, no, 4, 6 books. That love the pictures, I'm also a fill-in radio host. That's my wife in the back. We do a radio show in Milwaukee. We married, she's working on her doctorate degree. I graduated with my master's and then I'm enrolled in a doctorate degree at the same school. Y'all, success is a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's not necessarily money. It's just how you control your mind. If you can master controlling your mind, you will be victorious. But those people who don't master their mind, see where they're going to end up. It doesn't mean that you're better than anybody. It just means you understand the game. That the biggest obstacle for you is ultimately you. Finally, there's some sheets that I gave y'all. Have a game plan, y'all. It's okay that you don't get there now, but have a game plan. Most people who execute, you all, write their game plans down and follow them. And the reason why you do that is so the stress and the emotion doesn't get you off your square. Because emotions are going to come. And if you start acting and reacting emotionally, you will lose. But when you have a game plan and you follow it and remove the emotions or know how to manage the emotions, you will succeed. That's all I got. I see my man Sean. What's up, bro? Oh, y'all, that's the dude. So, I don't know if we take questions or what happened, but I don't know if I went over a couple of questions if y'all got them. All right, here's where, are you all on LinkedIn? On LinkedIn. You all should be on LinkedIn. Each and every one of you. If you're on LinkedIn, you should ask and reach out to me as to accept it as a friend. I just told y'all, we just went through, it's not always what you know, it's who you know. I need you all to start getting to the point where you understand the rules of engagement. Because now it's about stacking the deck in your favor. And who do you know? You're at that age where now it's time for you all to start playing that game. Now is where we move from checkers to chess. Y'all hear me? This is that moment. We ain't playing checkers no more. This is chess. Your moves got to be well thought out. You have to put some thought into what you want to do, where you want to be, and who's going to help you get there. Those people who are the most successful learn how to manage their emotions. I didn't get here or there because I was the smartest dude. No, I understood that at some point I got to manage my emotions and how I deal with stuff. Any other questions before we end? So I wrote, one is called, I was a stockbroker, so I wrote, the first one is Stop Leaving Money on the Table. And then I wrote Mutual Funds for Beginners 101. Another one was, the latest one was Leadership in Chaotic Times. The reason why I wrote these books, you all, and then some of them are ebooks. If you go to Amazon, type in Jason Fields, you can see some of the ebooks. So it's about 6, 7 books in total. The reason why I wrote this, y'all, because what I understood for a lot of us is we didn't understand the money game. We didn't understand the business game. A lot of us would go out and buy Nike shoes. How much do a pair of Jordans cost? $210. People like me would go, hey man, ain't nothing wrong with buying Jordans, y'all. But why not buy the stock? A couple of years ago, the stock was at $50. So while y'all out buying Jordans, not y'all per se, but while people out buying Jordans, guess what people like me doing? We're buying the stock. Because if you sell those Jordans, odds are you can't get that $250 once they get on your feet. But that stock, I done bought, that stock is at $50 a share. I didn't look recently, but that stock at like maybe $80 a share. So what I was saying was stop leaving money on the table and change our mindset, because this is how wealthy people get wealthy. They don't buy or overly buy the merchandise. They buy the companies. Y'all, we got to stop looking like just because we got a $100,000 wardrobe on, that means we wealthy. Social media done got us to a point where 90% of the people you see on social media lie. So the way people move and the way people get wealthy is they buy the companies of the stuff people buy. So when people are buying Nikes, I'm buying Nike stock. When people are ranting and raving about Disney characters, I'm buying Disney stock. I'm buying Disney stock. When people rant and raving about, that's the reason why I wrote Stop Leaving Money on the Table, because now we get to a point where your mindset has to be stop being the consumer and be the person that wants to matriculate and build wealth. If me and Sean start an investment club, now we can pool our money together, form an investment club. Let's say we invest $100 per each, we get some other people. Now me and Sean can start giving out scholarships to cats who want to be neuroscientists, engineers. Now we can start running tutorial business classes. So the reason why I wrote it was there has to be a way we stop thinking about just getting and looking good. Because y'all, when you walk into a bank, they don't care about the clothes that you got. The bank don't look at what do you own and how am I going to get my money back. Banks only loan money to people who got money. Businesses, being in business, can get you money, but you got to be willing to do the hard stuff. Saying you want to be a business owner, that sounds great, but here's the things you have to consider. What happens if I partner with somebody and they become a bad business partner? Then I'm losing. What happens if I partner with my boys and he don't want to show up? What happens if I got an employee and they acting funny and I got to fire them, but I like this person? Being business owners, you all, is sexy because most of us, we see the end result. We see the skyscraper, we see the money. But you all, it takes, you got to be willing to sacrifice to get there. And you can do it if you master your mind. So those are the kind of books I wrote, and that was why. I wanted us to be better. I wanted us to stop saying, when I would go to schools and talk, I'd ask all of the young boys and young girls what they want to be. I want to be an NBA player. Nothing wrong with that, but you got what in some million opportunity or chance to do that. You have a better chance of being the owner of the team. So what I wanted to do was say, hey, listen, it's cool being an NBA player, but how much money you got to have if you the person paying LeBron? Don't that make no sense? And you have an easier chance of becoming that person than you do him. So change your mindset. All right, Monica, I think I may have went over time. So,
Oh, no, you were right on time. Yep.
any other questions before you wrap? How much money did I lose in investments? Oh, man. The first deal I lost was $15,000. That was mine. That was my personal, that was my money. I remember being a stockbroker, y'all. I was probably 24. And I think I fainted because I don't remember what happened afterwards. So this guy had, he had gave, at the time my boss was my mentor, he was a black Jew. We was making like $100,000. He was making like $100,000 a month after taxes. So he was doing some stuff. He was good. I remember this guy called and he said, how much is my investment worth? I just gave y'all like a week ago $1 million. I'm like, okay. I looked and it said $800,000. In my mind, I'm like, oh snap. I gotta tell this dude, you down $200,000. I blacked out. I don't know what happened after that, bro. I just remember him not being upset about it. And this is, y'all, when I knew the game that we play, y'all, is different. God, I wish I could get y'all this. It is different, y'all. When you get to that kind of level, y'all, it is different. It is a different mindset. It's different ways of people getting power and influence. And it's not all unethical, but you gotta understand the game. This dude said, I want you to think about it. He was like, 200,000. I know a guy who had $2 million in an account with us. We never heard from him. That was his play money. Think about that. To have $2 million just sitting in the account, you don't even call and check up on him. He didn't care because he had other money somewhere. This is a black dude in Milwaukee. You all, when you start to understand and map out what you want to be, and master your mind, there is nothing you cannot achieve. But you have to understand that there's a price to pay. You don't just wake up one day and get there. You got to be willing to do what other people are not willing to do. That means when y'all get older and people want to kick it, if you about that life, you got to be like, nah, I'm going to pass this weekend because I got this quiz, this study, I got this. When successful people want you to do stuff, you need to be like, yeah, okay. Let me give y'all my 3 rules. When you ever in a room full of people got more power and juice than you, whether they're your dean or what happened, because y'all all gonna be in these rooms. Here are my 3 rules. Whenever you are in a room full of people got more power and juice, influence, money, what have you, they got more juice and weight than you. Rule number 1, you should not be talking. You should be listening, soaking up as much knowledge and information as possible. Rule number 2, if you are in the mood to talk, it needs to be in the form of a question. Because of rule number 3, the more a person likes you and they're talking to you, the more they like you. If I'm talking to you and I'm like, man, he's a good dude. Because you're sitting there listening to me talk. So the more a person is talking to you, the more that person likes you. So if you understand that there are rules and engagement to how you get to some of these things, you will cut your time down. The time it takes for you to get to where you want to go will be reduced if you understand and master these arts now. Master the control of your mind, and there's no place where you can go. I'm sure y'all have Sean, from all the stuff Sean did, I guarantee you Sean will tell you, man, if you master your mind. Because we had to learn this stuff. And so now I want you to understand, you can be whatever you want to be, but you gotta be willing to sacrifice. It ain't gonna come. But that's where, are you really about that life or not? Because the idea that there's not enough money, it's all kinds of money. Bolo, it's more than enough. We've all been indoctrinated with that as a scarcity mindset, that we don't have enough time, we don't have enough money. Yeah, we do. Yes, it is. Just what are you doing with it? So I've lost some money, man, but I made it back too. Because I had a plan. Whenever I didn't have a plan, Shalom, I lost money. Let me give y'all a quick story, Monty, then I'm done. So I was doing some trading. And I had took like $100 and I made like $700 in like an hour. My game plan was to stop. Did I stop? What happened? I kept going. What was my game plan? To stop. Why? Because I made my money. 45 minutes out, I made my money. In the financial industry, we have these sayings where they say, pigs get greedy, hogs get slaughtered. Now, you need to have that mindset. And that's why you need to have a plan. The plans, written down plans, keep you from being emotional, man. So my game plan was to make my money and then stop. I looked at that screen and was like, yo, I turned $100 into $700. I'm gonna let it ride, baby. In 30 minutes, I lost all that money. My wife said, yo, what you doing? Didn't follow the game plan. Got emotional, got greedy, lost it. Had I stuck to my game plan, I would have made $700 that day, it would have been good. But you have to have a game plan. You have to have a strategy. Write it down, you all. The most successful people will consistently tell you, write it down. Because when you follow plan and strategy, it keeps you focused on not getting so emotional, irrational, illogical. Because that's the biggest culprit, your own mindset. You will either be your greatest asset or your greatest liability. It will all be you. But it starts with mentally. What do tough people do and don't do? Any other questions before we close up? Good luck, y'all. See y'all in the future.